the friendliest.
Mm-hmm.
By far the friendliest. Like
Wow.
it's like, yeah, it's so cool because it's like I don't know if it has to do with the alleys.
Mm-hmm.
We see each other more. It's maybe because it's slightly higher density living. It's, Cornell is one of these neat little areas where none of us have big yards, but we have huge parks, right?
Yeah.
And so people go to the parks more, and I don't know, it's just, and it's just friendlier. It's the friendliest neighborhood we've ever lived in Markham. It's great. It's really interesting, It's a choice that Jim and I made because, we just want to live in an area that's more culturally diverse because we think it's important and it's just better, more interesting, whatever. And it's proven to be even better than we thought because people are friendlier. It's so cool. Like we sit out on our front porch here and people actually stop and talk and say hello. And that was really not the case in the other neighborhoods that we lived in.
Interesting. Did you think, also, I feel like I didn't say this explicitly, so I'll say it explicitly now. Like, is it okay for me to quote you from?
On that, for sure, absolutely.
Okay, is there anything that you're uncomfortable with? Because, going forward, we'll just, go, everything on the record. But, is there anything else that you said that you're, uncomfortable with or would phrase differently?
Yeah, well, I'm slightly uncomfortable about, the casting Unionville as the last white bastion.
Yeah.
But
it's a good quote, but that's what I wanted to ask you about.
Well, yeah, it's just, here's what I experienced. When we had the store in Unionville, there was, I don't know if it's still, we moved away 4 years ago, 3 years ago. I don't know, things change rapidly. Yeah. But at the time, it was amazing to me, Sadia, the number of customers who would come into my shop and who would sort of, their voices would, drop to a whisper because they knew they were saying politically incorrect things. And somehow or another, they felt that they would get a welcome audience at our shop saying, sharing anti-Asian sentiment. The Chinese, they don't take care of their properties. They can't, surely you don't have very many Chinese customers. And on the contrary, we do. And on the contrary, we're just not experiencing that in Markham. We're not experiencing that in Markham. And I don't know if people are finally just getting with the program or I just think there's a big difference between Markham and Unionville in the two little villages.
When you started, sorry, I'm going to
go ahead. Yeah.
Otherwise I'm going to get confused. When did you open the business in Unionville? That's when you first started Kate's Garden, right?
When we first started Kate's Garden, it was McCowan Road is the split between Markham and Unionville, right? So we were right on the border. We started that in 1998. So we've been in business for 20 years. And we worked in that mall for 11 years. And you may even recall when Tim Hortons moved in, we were so excited about Timmy's moving in because we thought, oh my God, we're going to have a McDonald's and a Timmy's. Yeah. It's just going to be so amazing. And what we discovered instead was that when people go to Timmy's, they don't stop. They just race around, right? And we got to the point where we were no longer a destination shop, right? So we thought, okay, we're going to move over to Unionville. It's cute. It's quaint. We thought it was a really good move. It wasn't a really good move. The making the move 4 years later to Markham, the community in which we work now embraces us much more. it's been a better business move. But we also have, in terms of clientele, a much broader, a culturally diverse clientele
than you've ever had before.
Oh, by far. Like our Asian clientele is probably, I don't know, 25% of our business. To use their own lexicon, the Browns are probably another I don't know, 50.
Wow.
Maybe not as high as that. It's probably maybe 30%. I'd actually have to take a closer look. It's really cool when you look at our services database, when you see the names, how it has changed so much over the last 20 years, because it used to be the McFarlands and the McIntoshes, and now it's the, Jundis and Wongs, right? It's really cool.
And what, like, when you left that first plaza, at McCown and Highway 7, it was basically just because this other big plaza had moved in and it wasn't really like benefiting you anymore. Like the mix of businesses wasn't benefiting you anymore.
Well, we moved down. Remember how we were moved down to the very end?
Yes, yeah.
And it was that was a really good location, but the mall itself changed. We had a big grocery store. Well, first of all, when we first moved there, when Winners was there, it was awesome. It was just awesome. It was such a draw for us. When Winners left, we didn't have the same number of decor customers. They changed to Food Basics, and Food Basics is more of a down market food store, and we were more like, we were at the other end with Pennington's and Down Under and Kate's Garden. We were more upscale stores, and the mix of having a down market grocery store and upscale stores at the opposite end just didn't work. We lost our draw, so to speak. We didn't have the same number of people coming to see us.
And then you moved to Unionville. What year was that? In 2009?
Yeah.
And were you right on Main Street?
No, we were on Fred Varley, so we were a little
really
strip mall behind. Yeah.
Okay.
Right behind the bandstand.
And so you kind of thought that would be a good fit because it's like you described.
Well, so much of our clientele, on the services side of the business, were from in and around Unionville. But I mean, our decision to move from Unionville back to Markham was really, it wasn't related to, it was really related to the fact that our mall was being torn down for a new development. We didn't have a lot of choice, right? So as we started to search again, we looked all over. We looked at Unionville, we looked at Markham, we looked at Stouffville, and Markham, we probably looked at, 30 different places, and Markham just, all the different, we just kept on coming back to saying, this is where we want to be. This is where we want to be. And it turned out to be a really good move.
And do you think Unionville, like, how would you describe Unionville for someone like who's like sitting in like London and has like no idea what like our town looks like? Like Main Street, Unionville in particular.
Sorry, now, how would I describe Main Street, Unionville?
Yeah, like in terms of like, some of the things that you said already, like about it being like quaint and like, I guess what I'm getting at is.
I don't think it's a street. Okay, so it's a street that is historically so important, right? It's a street whose historic facades have been protected. But it is also living on its past glory. So it was a street that in the 1990s, when the Americans were coming and when the film industry was being so subsidized by the Canadian government, the Americans were coming and making films there all the time. And the owners of the buildings jacked up the rents and haven't gotten realistic about how difficult it is now